Well, I finally found another job. I was kind of thinking of the video I made when I found that last job and how thankful and how grateful and just how happy I was at that moment to finally feel like I had found a path. And I guess I did for 9 months, and I should try to appreciate that. And every time I go into something now, I feel like it's almost like a relationship with a woman, and I wonder what the end's gonna be like. Where's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? Why is it gonna happen? I didn't anticipate that last job ended up in me getting fired, and but I am glad that I did get fired. It's funny how that happens in life, where you think something really bad's happened, and then when you look back, it's actually kind of turned out to be a good thing, or it led to some other good things. Now, I'm not sure in this case if it has led to another good thing. But I feel like I don't know, let's just say maybe I lucked out again, where like all those applications and cover letters that I was sending through Indeed and Glassdoor, whatever else all that stuff's about, I didn't hear back from one of those out of, like, say, let's just say it was 100. It probably had to be 100. If you included that time I was on unemployment and sending stuff out, it would be for sure. And I feel like that system's broken. And but what I did, I lucked out and I met somebody in person, and then I followed through with that, and I didn't know what the pay was going to be or what to expect. All I knew that it was like a maintenance type of position, where a combination of landscaping and cleaning and other stuff like that. And so, and then I had this interview, and the interview went well. And it was an interview that I talked about just recently here, where I had the 3 women that interviewed me, and then I heard back from them, and they said that they would like to have me come on board. And so I thought that the pay would be like $18, $19 an hour, and just because the type of a position it is, and who it's for, I just thought in general the pay scale was bigger for, let's just call them maybe like sort of governmental type agencies. But it turned out it's only $16.50 an hour. Well, when she told me that, I was a little heartbroken, but at the same time feeling so desperate that I was like, okay. And I figured, especially with my circumstances, where I don't have hardly any rent, that $16.50 an hour would be better than nothing for sure. And then it'd be this job's a lot easier than being a tile man's helper, and everybody I'm sure is a lot nicer. And but let's just talk about the pay rate for a minute. The sun's gonna come out and ruin my lighting, I have a feeling. Make me squint anyways. It comes out to be, like, say five something a month, and then after taxes, federal and state and whatever else there, it's gonna be maybe, let's say, $500 a week. I think I said month, but so a $500 a week for a guy like me who has been making nothing for a long time, it feels like pretty good money, actually. And so I feel like that's gonna work for now. And the other thing is, it's a seasonal job. Oh, God damn it, this lighting's gonna screw me all up. Such bad timing sometimes. And so I really lost my train of thought there. The sun's right in my face. So, but it's still not very good money. I mean, I already had learned at $19 an hour
that I was really kind of going nowhere. And now at this, I'm going to be able to survive. But, you know, I went and bought a new pair of boots the other day. I have this thing for nice boots. So I bought a pair of Red Wings, and that sucked up $300 right there, which was, and then let's just say if I allow a couple $100 for gas and food, that was like a whole week gone there just so quick, you know. And I mean, I didn't have to buy those expensive boots, but I'd rather have one great pair of boots for a long time than 3 or 4 crappy pairs. And it's like a big part of my life for some reason, my boots and the walking and the hiking and the everything. So it seems like it's worth it. But yeah, the pay part's a disappointment. And then, oh yeah, it's seasonal. And but I think that's going to work for me because I had kind of developed this plan to, since the world of construction doesn't seem to want me anymore. Well, I either need to get my handyman business going better, or my idea was to get a teaching certificate and spend my last days being a teacher, which just seems like a bad idea just saying it out loud, you know. I mean, on one hand I can picture it, on another hand I can't. I feel like if I was like, say, a professor at the university, I could imagine it better. But just being, say, let's just say a junior high school teacher or even substitute teacher, that's kind of hard to picture even, you know. But as I'm getting older and uglier and more worn out every day, that seems like a pretty decent gig. Just, you know, get yourself dressed and show up at the school and put in your time, and maybe it could even be better than I'm thinking it could be, you know. And luckily my background at this job, they did a drug test and a background check, and everything was good there. So it's kind of incredible. But you know, through all these years of my drinking and everything, I didn't get myself in the kind of trouble that stuck with me. And even as of late, I haven't been in trouble in a really long time, except for just financial trouble. So, now this new job, one of the bummers is it's about a half an hour away. So I'm doing that death ride on I-15 twice a day. And, you know, I feel like it's wearing my motorbike out a bit. I've already put a lot of miles on that little bike, and well, I say little, but it's a regular motorcycle. But and then I have the old truck to drive, the Rattle Trap, but I don't know, I don't want to wear it out either, you know. And so that's a kind of a complication. And then with the price of gas, taking the truck it really would eat into my daily pay quite a bit. And okay, but now I just thinking about the good parts. So I liked let's call her the supervisor. I kind of liked her right away, and that is still going on after I've been there a week. I still like her a lot, and she's comfortable to be with in general. And then what I was worried mostly about was the other men that I have to work with. And let's say I got I got 2 regular co-workers, and then I have, let's call maybe 2 supervisors that kind of control my day-to-day activities, or tell me what to do basically, or what needs to be done. Okay, so now my co-workers, I like, they seem fine, and you know, they're kind of young guys, and the first day they were real quiet, but they're getting more talkative, and it's getting more relaxed, which is kind of cool. But and then there's a couple of things I had to ride with them in the truck to get the drug test, and one of the guys kept cracking his knuckles, and that really drives me crazy. And usually people just crack their knuckles once, and then I've never enjoyed cracking my knuckles, and it just feels strange, and I've never been a successful knuckle cracker, you might say. But this guy could not only crack his knuckles once, but it turns out he could crack them like the whole trip there and the whole way back. And it was sort of making me a little bit nutty, feeling like I wanted to tell him to quit cracking his knuckles, but I just bit my lip. And then the driver is constantly, he's a whistler, so he's always whistling for this, whistling for that. And uh, I've, okay, like, so let's say I used to be a valet parker at this fancy restaurant, and sometimes guys would come out and whistle a little tune as they were waiting for their wives to come out. And sometimes I would find it pleasant. But mostly, like, say, in the world of construction, there would be Mexicans either whistling as a form of communication, like they're working on an Aztec pyramid, I guess. Back then, they must have been whistling to each other constantly. Or they'll just whistle. But this guy's whistling, I just found it nerve grating. And so there was like this whistling going on. And but I just, what am I gonna do? You can't really complain about knuckle crackling or somebody whistling all the time. But luckily I don't work, with him every day. And he's one of those guys who shakes his hair constantly and pulls his hair back, but it just falls right back down. So I don't know what he's doing there. It's almost like a girly thing or something. But whatever. Who cares about that? Okay. But the real bright spot, the really good, honest to goodness thing is my direct supervisor. He is so cool. He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met, and he's actually like 65-ish. He's older than me, and he reminds me a lot of Kevin Costner in that Yellowstone character. He's like one of those rancher types, that wears like a Wrangler shirt and cowboy boots and jeans and an actual cowboy hat. And he calls a spade a spade. He's like a real straight shooter, but he's also very pleasant and I just really enjoy being around him. I just really like this guy so much. And I feel like if nothing else, that even though the pay's not that great, that this is worth it just to meet this guy and to see how he runs his life and to see what he's doing. Like, I see stuff, I don't feel envious, but I feel more like I want to emulate him. Like, whatever he's got going, I really like it, so much. He's like a real man's man. And I just love this guy, even after just a week of working with him. And I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to let him down. And, I am scared about that. I'm scared about the moment that I might let him down in some way or disappoint him. But I'm going to try my damnedest to not. And so far, it just seems like him and I, we work together. We don't even have to talk a lot. And by that, I mean, it's not like, like we had to shovel a bunch of dirt the other day and we just both started shoveling. And then we were just talking about other stuff, but there wasn't like anything like, well, Brian, grab that shovel and put some dirt here, put some dirt there. There was basically no instructions. We just fell about shoveling just real naturally, so I'm so thankful about this relationship and meeting this guy. And then in general, for some reason, my life really started to kind of take a real uptick. And, I had reached that 90-day mark with the Alcoholics Anonymous. And, I wasn't drinking that much, so I really don't feel like the drinking was the problem. But just working that 12-step program and doing some praying and getting that higher power thinking going on, I really feel like helped a lot. And then there were other things like that tile job started. I'm getting ready to set out for there in just a little bit. And so that brought me some money right away. And then I got my income taxes back. And that got me some more money right away. And then it's going to be a couple more weeks before I get a paycheck from my new job. But everything just that bit of money and then, having that positive job interview experience and then actually getting hired. And then it's a cool work site, shop too. I always kind of would wonder about these particular shops, how they ran things. Everything sort of, parked perfectly in the lot and all the tools are all situated real nice. And, there's a morning meeting, but it's not like a real drag. I even kind of look forward to it. I'm kind of curious what people are going to say. And I've been to Morty meetings before where it was more like you get browbeat for a little bit. And yeah, so far there's been no browbeating or anything bad happening. And so I'm just thinking back to that other time I had the job, and I'm a different kind of happy now. I can't really explain it. I'm sort of feel more settled into my old man situation. Although, it wasn't that long ago. I was feeling all suicidal, so it's weird how basically just getting a job can turn your life around like that, even if it's not a great job. Although I think this is a great job. It's just a low-paying job. So it's just interesting how that part works for me, and just kind of makes me think how fragile my mental state is. I feel like I just got so beat up out there for a while that it doesn't take a lot of things going bad for very long. How long I was unemployed for 6 months or something like that. I don't know, but I did pretty good. Well, those first 2 months were really pretty tough too, because I was just all depressed and bummed out. Maybe the first 3 months. And then I had once I started hiking and getting out and praying and doing the AA thing, and things started to get better. But then as time drug on, my financial situation was getting worse, and this futile job searching that was happening, I was just feeling so worthless, just like, what's the use? What is the use of going on? But so now things have turned around completely. And I talked to the psychologist. I told him about the Lexapro making me itchy and crawly feeling, and then he asked me if I was still feeling like I wanted to be dead or off myself, and I told him no. Now that I got this job, I feel like completely the opposite, which I do. I mean, I just feel super hopeful and optimistic, and having a few dollars in my pocket, it just changes everything so much. So it's really like the best antidepressant you can get is to have some positive life changes, and then on the bummer side too, though, is I'm going to lose my Medicaid, and I'm going to lose so the talk therapy. It'll be hard to make it there now, so I'll probably lose that. But I don't know how much good that was doing me. I mean, I enjoyed going and talking about stuff, but it didn't help me as much as getting a job, and I can always go back to that when the season's over, or if things get worse in some way or another. So yeah, and then losing the Medicaid, it actually won't be that big of a deal for me right at this moment. Although I was supposed to do that sleep study, but that can wait also. And then the one other thing, though, I am gonna follow through with is the mushroom journey. I'm able to make that happen now, and I'm kind of fearful about it. I gotta pick the right place, the right time, and but I'm gonna follow through with my psychonautical adventure there, and see how that makes me feel. And well, I guess that's it for today. It's been kind of good doing this videos for me, just as a way to be introspective and kind of get my thoughts out. I actually have no idea how it's being received, or if it's a good idea to talk like this to the world. I'm not even sure why I'm doing it, posting it, but I remember I used to feel like it might be helpful to other people who were getting old and feeling washed up and going through the same financial troubles and stuff, but I'm not even sure if it's helpful to anybody. And then I also would think sometimes it could be entertaining, like if you weren't doing anything else, you're tired of watching the news.
you could just check out and listen to this old guy talk for a little while and see what get a glimpse into my horrible life might somehow be entertaining or thought provoking or well, there's like another word I wanted, edifying. I guess that would be my biggest hope, is that somehow these 20-minute long videos were somehow edifying for somebody. But well, that's all I got. Thanks for listening to me.